Kampala, the capital of Uganda, KIPYA Group under KIPYA Bit2Big organized a 2-day university seminars and conference on blockchain technology.
Bitcoin technology, trust machine, what is it? First of all, when we talk about Bitcoin, it is just an implementation on blockchain. So we shouldn't talk about Bitcoin, actually. We should be talking about blockchain. Why do we still add Bitcoin? Because if I had told you blockchain, you would have thought we're totally mad now. Really, Bitcoin is mad enough. But now people know Bitcoin. So blockchain people don't know. But we want this conference that when you get out today, you speak another language. Actually, your professors even are telling you, where did you go? Did you travel outside of Uganda? In your job place, it should be like recommending you for other positions. And since the ICT ministry is in the house, you can actually basically hand in your CVs before you leave. So we're talking here about blockchain, which is the powering engine for Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is just one cryptocurrency, but there are more than that. So the trust machine, what is it about? The blockchain is a machine of truth. It basically replaces a person, an institution, etc., who you normally will conduct for trust. Not really replacing the sense that they're just not needed anymore, but it is a system that allows to, in the way it keeps the information, in the way it is built, that we can fully use it on a level to say, I put my information here, and others can see it, they can verify it, and they can say what is written there is the truth. Now, we IT experts were saying that the blockchain is a new revolution, and some say, and including the internet inventors partly, it's going to be making a bigger impact than even the internet did. Did you get that? The blockchain is going to make it has already started, but we are not yet there. It's going to make a bigger impact in so many areas even we don't know yet.
These events brought together blockchain and Bitcoin experts, regulators and policymakers, and academia in Uganda, with the founder of Crypto Valley, Mr. Sorwen Fogg, who was the main speaker.
What we have is a technology with a very old history. It was actually invented originally by IBM, I think. I can't remember 100%, but I think it was IBM that was charged by the American military to find a way where information could be sent down the command chain and be proven not to be tampered with. So information couldn't change giving military commands down the chain. And they've devised this way of chaining information together in a blockchain, which is called today, so you can't fake it. Now let's have a look at that later on. So some of our friends have come up with various metaphors around the blockchain, and John Yeomans, who is CEO of Transact24, calls it the irrefutable chain of truth. I call it automating trust. I mean, after the first time when I came home to my wife and said, listen, I found this new thing called blockchain. And she said, what's that? And I told her, I talked for 1.5 hours, and in the end she said, shouldn't we watch a movie instead? So after being pushed into the corner multiple times, I ended up with these two words, automating trust. Just a little bit about what happened here. I mean, the technology was not fast enough to use blockchain technology, encryption, etc. back then in '54 or whatever it was. So it was basically shelved, this idea. And then Satoshi Nakamoto, when he had found it, we don't know who he is. He could be military US, for all we know. But somebody at least found this methodology of chaining information together and started making Bitcoin as a provocation and an attack on the central banks during the crisis 2008-9. So of course he was not liked, and Bitcoin was to some extent viewed as a terrorism. But during time, actually, banks and other people around the globe saw other opportunities with this technology, and this is what we see now happen. Banks are reacting now. We're seeing enormous growth in this area, particularly in Zug, where I come from, or Crypto Valley, during the last 1.5 years. Massive amounts of money have been invested just the last half year, something like between $500 million and $1.5 billion, all about, depending on how you evaluate the cryptocurrencies, have been invested just in this little community alone. So people are also diverting away from the vision into ambition.
This is a technology that actually these people have totally sacrificed themselves to bring it to Uganda, introduce to you, to get to know how you can help regulators to set up regulations that would safeguard the interest of the community. I therefore, the questions that are, okay, I'm talking as an economist, and somebody that has done business for some time, because I'm 43 years old, and I have a PhD in econometrics. But when the questions come to people that are actually supposed to be congratulated, I just say maybe, these people need to get also to a comment of people that are actually sacking them. Because yes, there's a lot of bureaucracies or a lot of questions of people that have come and things have not been done well. But it's a technology which is being introduced. And at the end of the day, it is going to protect the interest of everybody that has done or is part of these things that bring about investment, because technology is an investment.
The seminars at the universities ended with students and administrators giving their general thoughts on blockchain technology.
Because big technology is modern technology that enable people to understand how currencies are working and how businesses are being going rapidly. Basically, what should be done as university and as the country at large is to enable people to engage in this technological advancement, and meanwhile to teach people, to campaign and to create public awareness to people about the importance of this Bitcoin and block technology.
Blockchain technology can be explained with the words block and chain. Okay, they are a chain of codes, and in each chain there is information about a transaction or a smart contract or something like that. But the chains lay over each other one after the other, and they cannot be reversed. It's as simple as that. You can layer an entire economy of a country over the blockchain technology. Why? Because now I have people that are complaining. Let's say, for example, I come from Nigeria. Sometimes you have small money in your account, and then you want to withdraw it, but then all of a sudden you hear one useless charge. They will remove your money, and then you can't remove the money anymore. So the blockchain technology, all of the cryptocurrencies that are within the blockchain technology, take it Bitcoin, Ethereum, their charges are so low they are considered negligible. So this advantage must be taken over. I think the most important factor that is holding back the use of this technology is knowledge. If people don't know about it, they are not going to use it. Like the gentleman said in the conference, he developed a search engine way more before Google did or Yahoo. But no one used it because no one knew about it. That's why we need to create the conferences and the summits to educate people and inform them that, hey, look, there is Bitcoin, there is Ethereum, there is the blockchain technology that you can use to improve your life. So the most important one is knowledge. And the second point is security. You have to assure people, you have to assure them that this is not a scam, that this is secured and your money is not going to be stolen.
We have agreed as a university to collaborate, and we'll ask School of Computing and also Directorate of ICT to work hand in hand so that we have a generic memorandum of understanding. And the lab they are talking about, we should be in a position to establish that for sure, even if it were for purposes of sharing this knowledge before you even get the clients on board.
At the conference dubbed Embracing Bitcoin Technology in Uganda, a number of global best practices in blockchain technology implementation were focused on and shared with participants.
I just want to know the pros and cons of using that. And Ethereum still is different.
Yes?
Yeah, I just want to know why they are different and why that
Why Bitcoin and Ethereum is different?
Why the spending, how they spend the transactions.
I have not been diving into the details of how transactions are constructed, the business logic in Ethereum, but I imagine it's pretty much the same. I know Vitaly, he was using Bitcoin, the open source software, when he modeled his Ethereum, so most likely most of it's exactly the same, but his idea was to build this virtual machine on top of this solidity programming, so a scripting language that can be run inside the thing. So there's a sort of computer or interpreter inside this new blockchain that he made. That's the main difference. So it's a good question, because what you're addressing is what I call version 1 and version 2 of Bitcoin, or blockchain technology. Sorry, no, I'm using the wrong word to say. Yeah, because Bitcoin was the first generation. The second generation, the first time we actually had a real paradigm shift where technology really took a step forward, was with the virtual machines in smart contracts. Suddenly you can run a contract on on the blockchain and be sure it's executed exactly that way across the globe.
What's your take on like the volatility of the market?
Yeah, well, if you ask me how much Bitcoin I own, it's 0. I don't gamble. I invest my time in good ideas. Looking in the mirror, however, I would have been quite wealthy. I could buy them for $10 when I could. But the volatility of the market, well, it's a small market. There's not that many users. It's growing. I mean, back 3 years ago, we were laughing about if somebody bought a car or a house using Bitcoin, you would see a large fluctuation in the currency exchange rate, because it was a really big transfer, a really big amount impactful. It's not the case anymore. It's flattening out. So mass adoption will of course stabilize the currencies. You can imagine, at least there's never any guarantee. It's the same with any other scarcity-based asset class out there. It's basically what people believe it's worth. It's up to individuals to decide. And right now everybody thinks that they can get rich on Bitcoin. The reality is a slightly different one. I think if you look at the exchange rates and how it's going, you will see that the whales, they call them the whales, those guys typically from China with large amount of money. They sit on massive capital. So they start selling from different accounts little by little with random intervals, so that it looks like normal people are selling. So you get the curve and it starts going down, and then everybody says, oh, it's going down, it's a good time to sell before it goes too low. So everybody sells. So they just initiate that everybody else sells, and a large amount of people sell. When it goes down in the bottom, they start buying. So they're milking the market by riding these waves. And if you know how to see this, you can ride them too and make money. But if you don't, you lose.
Now, with what I've seen, what the blockchain technology can do, whether it's government or health or national identification and things like that. Do you think, because Ugandans generally, we're just getting into digital literacy, it's not something that we had a lot of focus on ICT in schools. Do you think that having blockchain information passed on is really vital, especially when I think of things like population records and stuff like that, because we're projected to be about 80 million in about 20 years.
Wow,
yeah.
That's productive.
Yeah, we have a 3% growth rate. So how can this technology be used by maybe our government, or is it something that we should really look into using?
Absolutely. I have no doubt that this will be a game changer for any government that adopts this will make itself more efficient and trustworthy to its population. And I like one part of the question is what skills are actually needed. This is one
I
of
know
the,
you've mentioned a lot, ICT obviously, the computer programming or computer science is a backbone, which also everyone needs today.
you need to have some technical knowledge, of course. It's all technical knowledge. Programming is part of it. I mean, when I talk about smart contracts to the regulator back in Switzerland, and ask them, they think, at least before I talked to them, they thought that this was like a written contract with signatures and small print and all that, which it isn't. It's a program, if then else. Example, you and I make a bet. If it rains in Tokyo and the sun shines in New York and Kenya lost in football to Uganda within the last 2 weeks, you get my thousands. If that does not happen in 2 months, I get your 1,000. So we make a smart contract, program that into a contract. We give the money to the contract. It owns the money. They're gone. And this contract will then check these things. And if you win, you get the money. And if the 2 months ends, I get the money.
Different people at the conference had different views on where to focus this technology in Uganda. However, the Commission of ICT said they are willing to work with KIPYA Group to see that the technology is being used in Uganda.
Government supports innovation. I think some of you could have been following the story about what the ministry is doing in the innovation space. So being part of the fourth industrial revolution, blockchain is one of the areas which the ministry is looking into. And that's the reason why we have also been engaging with your chairperson. So this meeting this morning is another testimony that there are opportunities. And this morning I believe that you are going to expand on these opportunities which we as a country can be able to explore. And in this meeting also we expect you to come with recommendations and proposals to us. What is it that we can do to make the environment suitable? From the legal and regulatory environment, is there something that we should do? From the policy perspective, what is it that government should have in place? Also from the area of infrastructure, is the infrastructure suitable and adequate for us to pursue this innovation? And how about the issue of managing of risk associated with the adoption of blockchain and cryptocurrencies in general? You may agree with me that the reason why the country is moving slowly is because people are cautious. They're wondering what can happen. These things, because there have been many bubbles. People invest heavily in internet-related ventures. At the end of the day, they collapse. So people are very, very careful. So that is the reason why we need to hear case studies from other countries, how they have worked, how they have been able to penetrate the bureaucracy in the different countries. So it is very important that we invest time and resources in awareness creation and advocacy. Being on a techies in a room like this may look nice, but the people who are going to open doors for you don't come for these kind of meetings. So we need to work together to make sure we go to those different offices, talk to them about the opportunities we have in blockchain for the country, and create general awareness to the citizenry, because it is not only just for a few, it is for the whole country to benefit.
At the end of the conference, participants were asked to join the May conference organized by the Blockchain Association together with the Bank of Uganda, with participants from all over the world.
What is before us, ladies and gentlemen, is really the next age of the internet. So the future has arrived, okay? And we have the privilege of being participants in it. The three things that I wanted to talk about. The first is the Blockchain Association of Uganda, which I happen to preside over as the chairman. Michael is the vice chairman, and I'm glad to see that there are many members here.
of the association. The Blockchain Association of Uganda came together just a few months ago because we realized that there is a strong misconception about blockchain in our country, but also there's incredible opportunity. And in order for that opportunity to be tapped, we should organize ourselves as an industry. And once we organize ourselves as an industry, we can do a lot more. Where a lot more means attracting investors, like those from Switzerland here, means engaging with government, putting in place the right regulation and policies, and so on. So the Blockchain Association of Uganda is a young organization, just like the technology. Our company, the company that I work with, called Blockchain Technologies Africa, is another startup. It's a blockchain startup that's focused on blockchain as a service. And so there's a lot of services that we're tapping into. Now, I'll speak a little bit more about our company, the association, and then the conference, which I'm extending an invitation to all of you for.
Everyone here has gotten one or two things, and from now we are going to spread the word gospel about blockchain or Bitcoin. You know, the best tool for marketing is person-to-person information. It's the best way we can market ourselves and take it to another level. I hope we should embrace this new technology, because new things are hard to adopt to, but with time when you get to understand them and appreciate, like you've taken time to sit here, understand what we are talking about and, you know, get to know more about it, I believe we are able to talk more in a proper way and a more understanding way of the technology.